Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. I am joined by a very special guest today, as well as my co-host, the Junior Grandmaster himself, is in the co-pilot seat. As always, I am the certified Greg Wrangler, so it is my job, futile as it may be, to keep Greg in check because we do have a great guest and a ton of great content to get to today. But first of all, Greg, how are you?
Matt, I've had better days. I want to throat kick and punch a couple of people right now, but whatever. It's a normal day. But I got to tell you, I was talking to an agent here in the office, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to say names, but there are some coaching organizations out there that are astronomically out of their mind, and they treat people like garbage, and it infuriates the living shit out of me. I'm going to say that. So what you and I are coming up with is going to be the holy grail to this. And I talked to this really nice gal out here. She's getting financially raped by a very large organization, and they took her social security number so that if they don't pay, they'll trash her credit. What a dick. And this is supposed to be
because it was
people.
like a commitment, like to a coaching package.
Yeah, and I'll get on to this off air, but I mean, it's just infuriating how people take advantage of other people, and it's not right. So that's my rant.
Greg's in a good mood today. It's going to be a good episode. All right. Well, let's bring in our special guest, Erik Brown. Erik, how's it going today?
Hey, it's good. Thanks. Pleasure to be on.
Yeah, we're excited to have you because we've got a lot of cool stuff to get into. So give us just the 60-second bio on who you are, where you are, and what you do.
So real estate broker in 2 states. I'm originally from the Midwest, Minneapolis, Minnesota area. I have a practice there for about a decade, and then I expanded to the Beverly Hills market a couple of years ago, a little less than 2 years. And so I've been utilizing some of the same platforms and the same administrative systems that I have in both areas and looking to expand to a second location.
Yeah, this is awesome. So we're going to talk about how to separate yourself in a hyper-competitive market, which actually Minneapolis is really competitive. There's a lot of great agents up there. Just the whole Minnesota market in general has a lot of great agents, but especially in Beverly Hills, attract some of the top agents in the world, especially in the luxury market where you are competing. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about expansion. We're going to talk about the book that you've written, which is part of your personal branding strategy. We're going to talk about some of the other things that you do that's really unique. And so I'm excited to get into that stuff a little bit later. But there was a question in the meantime that I wanted to pitch to both of you because it caught my eye. It's so unique. I've never heard anybody ask this on any Facebook group before that I've seen. So I wanted to address this. This is from the Lead Gen Scription Objections group. So Lisa Whiteley-Ray asks, is there a script for interviewing agents that are taking over your business? I'm meeting with 3 agents today because I'm moving out of state and curious what you'd want to know or think was important to ask. So let's start with you, Erik, because you've been through this before. You've essentially had a decision to make. You wanted to move out of state. You probably could have sold your business or maybe could have looked in that direction, but you chose to keep it, manage it remotely, and move out to California. So let's say you decided, no, I'm going to sell it or I'm going to have somebody take it over. What would be some of your main concerns?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, and all of us could probably preach this, is the hardest thing to teach is the fire. That someone has the fire. They might not have all of the skill sets to be able to run all of the systems and the practices and the staffing that you have, but if they have the fire to learn it, they'll get it. I just finished reading Barbara Corcoran's book, she sold her practice in New York for $70 million in the 90s. And she brought on a junior partner early because she brought a certain skill set to the table, but she couldn't manage this growing enterprise. And so she brought someone else that had kind of the yin and yang to her experience and was able to blow it up. I've heard multiple agents use the term 1 + 1 does not equal 2. And if you find the right fit, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, that makes sense. Greg, what say you?
You know what? I think it's probably one of the better questions I would ask them how are they going to run this business that I was handing them, because these are the people that you bled, sweat, and tears put into this industry. How are they going to run it? Are they running it for profit? Are they running it out of their heart? What are their plans? Are they going to grow it? Are they just going to assume it into their business? I would want to know how they're going to follow up, what their tactics were going to be. I would also probably, you need to negotiate some sort of, revenue stream for you for selling the business, how you want to structure that, one lump sum, multiple sums, a percentage on a monthly, yearly basis. But the biggest thing I would want to make sure is how they're going to treat my past clients. I mean, because I did all the hard work out front. I was the one that went out and met these people, converted them, kept them active in my business. I want to make sure they aren't going to just drop them. If Matt is going to take over my business, I want to make sure he's not going to be a dick. And my people are going to call me up and be like, "Hey, Greg, who'd you sell this, this jerk off, your business for? This guy's a jerk. He doesn't do anything. All he does is like criticizes my fat wife." And,
that does sound like me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it'd be definitely how they're going to handle my past clients. I want to make sure that my people, they're like my kids, that they're going to be taken care of. Yeah, that would be my biggest thing.
Yeah. All right, I like it.
That's me.
No, that's good answers. I mean, that's yeah. And Eric, you're right. Like the fire. I mean, and that goes back to anyone who's had any experience trying to coach or hire or recruit agents or whatever. That I think that's probably the intangible. That's the hardest thing to identify.
Yeah, and I mean, Greg said it right too. There's so many different little nuances that you can add in. You can have a probationary period. You can have a series of the right types of questions. But if you're to boil it down to one thing, Greg and I actually probably said something that was pretty similar. Like, we want to know that people are going to be taken care of, and you're going to make that a personal mission. We don't turn off at 5 o'clock. Like, that we're self-employed. Like, we're growing business, and so you have to treat people better than you would want to be treated.
And that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
I hold myself to a pretty high standard on that.
Well, all right. So, Greg, you hold yourself to a high standard of how Greg treats Greg. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So there's one.
Basis, which sucks.
Yeah, I believe that. All right. There's one little quick comment here I wanted to get to too. So Heather Windsor said, "Success story. A seller walking around one of my listings called to tell me that my sign was crooked. So we chatted, and I used the quote Greg McDaniel technique. Sir, have you had an updated value on your home recently? Boom! I landed the appointment for Saturday. He's going to be selling." So that's a great story of how someone actually took what you had to say, Greg, when you're talking out the whatever orifice you happen to be talking out of.
You're going to say, when you're talking out of your ass, people are actually listening. This is amazing.
Exactly.
I read that. I was pretty impressed. I was like, and she's a top producer, man. Yeah. She crushes it. So I was like, whoa, all right, that's pretty awesome. She's awesome, man. She's going to do really well.
Yes, you will. All right. So Eric, let's get back to you and take me back to kind of when you first got in the business. We won't spend a ton of time here, but take me back to when you first got in and what did you do to initially generate leads and attract clients?
Yeah, it's interesting. As we were speaking offline, it's you hear all these great stories of people that blow it up right away, and I was not that guy. My first year was basically the beginning of the recession, and I bought a bunch of internet leads and literally myself pounded the phone. And my first year converted 8 total transactions. I mean, it was enough to squeak by. There were some decent price points in Minneapolis, but again, this is 2006, 2007. And so then the next year, as slowly but surely, scraping by, saving some pennies, adding onto systems, I hired a first assistant and then doubled the second year.
Wow.
Using somewhat the same platform. It was generally internet-based. I always believe that the web, people are going to start their search there. And if you can initiate the relationship, however you can add value to them, you'll convert that relationship more consistently. And so then after that, I started to add in spheres of influence and referral partners and basically picked those 3 buckets and used them as my platform to grow everything else.
Interesting. The calls, a lot of people don't use calls. They think that it doesn't work, and it does work. But the thing that doesn't work are the people most of the time. So Eric, you stuck with it. You did the grind. You did the unsexy, unfun, unglamorous parts of this business, and now you're living in Beverly Hills. So I mean, if that's not a testimony to doing hard work, I really don't know what is, man. That is some epic shit right there.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Everyone always they ask you, they ask me, they ask anybody who is somewhat successful. Like, oh, how do you get there? And it's like they're looking for that one morsel of knowledge that we haven't shared with the rest of the world. Like, we're just holding it back. Yeah, it's a horrible little 4-letter word called work, asshole. Just work. That's it.
Yeah.
It was the grind. Real estate is a contact sport. The more contacts you have, the better. And so there's only so many methods with which you can do it. You've got email, text messaging, social media, phone calls, physical visits, and direct mail. Those are your main 5. And either you're going to spend a pile on direct mail and you have a 1% hit rate and hope people call you. But either way, people have to like us, trust us, and want to do business with us. And the like comes first. Mm-hmm. They have to know us and like us and think that we're going to take care of them, because real estate is a very personal transaction. And so I knew that a phone call would at least get me in the door at some point faster than if I blasted out emails or blasted out letters.
That's so true. Between phone calls and now we have live video, like what we're streaming on right now. You know what? Live video even takes our phone call to a whole nother level, because in communication, only 7% of the time is it actually the words coming out of your mouth. 33% of the time is the tonality of your voice, and 55% is your body language. So if you can combine them all into a live video or a shared video, I know that Eric, we're going to talk about BombBomb, how successful that's been for you. You know, doing the phone calls is a grind. I mean, I do it every single day for an hour to 2 hours a day. You guys, if you guys are watching on Lead Gen, Scripts and Objections, you see me grind it out, and I get my teeth kicked in. I get yelled at, but then I meet amazing people. You got to roll with the punches, guys. Not everyone's going to be rainbows and sherbet and unicorns and you know, gumdrops. Some of them's going to suck, but it's okay. Just be okay. I was talking to this young gal out here, I got told earlier, she got told no by one guy. He yelled at her because he woke her up. She woke him up when she was door knocking. She never went out door knocked again. I mean, doing that kind of stuff, getting beat down, like Eric, you didn't, and Matt, you didn't, and I don't, you know, having that mindset of, look, I'm out here to help and serve people. That's where you're really going to take off and launch, because instead of you taking it personally and be like, it's okay, you're just not ready for me yet, I'll move on to the next person who is. So it's what Eric, agree with me on this thing. When you got going, was it all mindset when you started going? Like you got beat down, but you kept on trucking because you had the right mindset about it?
Yeah, rejection's part of the game. And for me, and this inner conversation that you have with yourself comes from different places. For me, it was athletics. I was in high school and collegiate athletics. And so I have lost, and I have practiced, and I have grinded before, and it's physical pain instead of like mental or emotional, but I was used to it. Like I knew what the grind felt like. And so I just converted it to making those phone calls and knew that it was a percentage game. So I use this example with my team often, but if you bat 300 in baseball, you're an all-star. Well, that means you had 7 outs. And that would be the same in our business. You make a pile of phone calls. Most of them are outs, but you get that 1, 2, 3, that hit. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Matt, why are you muting me?
Because you have a lot of background noise for whatever reason. I don't know what your deal is today. It's your billowy suit jacket or something. That's you gotta ditch that thing. I don't know. It's like exactly. All right, so let's go into that for a second. Let's go into the BombBomb. So that you mentioned this is kind of one of the things that has helped you differentiate yourself. So what's the key? Like, how are you using that in your process?
Yeah, so I use, for those of you that don't know, BombBomb is a video-based email service where you can create personalized videos or drip videos that are email-based. So when they send out, I can hold up a sign that might, you know, like here's a letter as an example, or I can hold up, hey, a box of candy or something. I have a whiteboard that has someone's name on it, so I don't look like white noise. And so we've done all of these tricks with video, as Greg had mentioned earlier, where people can see me, be demonstrative, or hear my voice, or see my face. And it creates a relationship that's similar to television or radio as lending some expertise. And so we found that our open rates on what we send is much higher than just a standardized email. And I'm always in the beginning, I look at business in general in our line of work as an assembly line, from lead to appointment, to meeting, to client, to closing, to referral. And the real gold is the in-between, from lead to appointment, from appointment to meeting. What are you doing in that in-between phase? And so BombBomb allows us to build a relationship. A lot of times with an internet lead, or any lead for that matter, there's a nurture period. It might be a week, it might be a year. And so in that nurture period, we're constantly trying to add value, more than just saying, buy a house, sell a house. We give them so much value that they think of us to want to have a conversation when they're ready for that next step.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very, very cool. And I've heard of other people doing personalized videos. Mark Martin's a good example of like actually mentioning their name. But I love the idea of using the whiteboard with their name written on it, because then when the BombBomb screenshot comes up in the email, they can see, oh, this is personal. Like I got one from a guy the other day, and I looked at the email and I'm like it was a BombBomb email, but there was nothing specific about it. It was just him smiling in the screenshot. And it wasn't until I clicked it, because I knew the person and I wanted to hear what he had to say, that I realized, oh, this is a personalized video to me. So I love that idea of like putting it in the screenshot so that they know as soon as they open up the email, oh, this is actually just for me. This is not a stock anything. And so this is part of like, you've got the ISAs that are kind of returning the calls off of your Commissions Inc. platform. Who's sending the BombBomb emails? Is it just you? Is it your entire staff? Is it the ISAs, or just the agents?
So the drips are all pre-canned. So those are getting sent out as someone will log into whatever is our internet platform system that people log into to register to become an internet lead for us. They then automatically go into a drip system that is a series of videos over X number of weeks that get sent out. And it's personalized in the fact that you can add variables like their first name or their favorite city or their phone number, but it's not as personalized as if we send out a direct video message. A direct video message generally goes when we've made substantive contact. And so that's either me or my agents at that point.
Have you started using Facebook Messenger videos at all yet?
I personally haven't, but there's several people in my kind of mastermind group that are using it with aplomb.
I'm seeing phenomenal success with that. Yeah, live. Yeah. You can go live directly to the other person, but in the messenger, I mean, I'll do a 15-second little clip. Hey Matt, what's going on? Really? Oh, this is me holding my camera. Okay. Oh, hey Matt, what's going on? Really nice to meet you and Julie and your 3 obese little babies, the little wood dinner bastards. Hey, I look forward to working with you guys, and give me a call if you see any homes you like. Click, bye, boom, and it's personalized. It's fast. It's saved. I haven't had anyone get upset, and I haven't had anybody say a negative word about it yet until Matt.
Except for me, yeah, exactly. Because I'm looking at that going, I'm on the phone, Greg. I can't watch or listen to a voice clip of you. Just voice to text, Greg. Voice to text. That's what I have to say to you.
No, I did text to voice, Matt.
You're being dyslexic. We know each other. You're not a lead. Yeah. If I got a video from someone I didn't know, I'd be like, I'd have to watch because it still has the novelty factor, and until it loses that novelty factor, I think it'll be very effective. So it's definitely something to tinker with. I like it.
Again, you ignoring me. Proof in the pudding, you're recording.
You have proof that I looked at a message that you sent in and actually contemplated reading it. That's impressive. That should be that. Congratulate yourself for that.
You use some thought, like, no, still delete. No.
All right. Well, let's mention a couple things, and then Greg, you can give some shout outs, and then I want to dive further into to Erik's story, especially how you built the team up in Minnesota, what the transition was like out here to California, and some of the differences between the two. I know there are a lot of people in the circles that I run in, and guys like Jeff Cohn and stuff like that on the team building side that are doing exactly what you're doing. That are very, very curious about your experience of taking what's worked in the Midwest and moving it over into a super competitive market like Beverly Hills. So I want to jump in, super deep into that stuff. But anyway, so everybody that's listening and watching live, first of all, thank you. Make sure to subscribe on either YouTube if you want the video version, or iTunes or Stitcher if you want the audio version, right here on your mobile device where you can get it anytime you want. And then go over to McDanielRealEstateSystems.com and check out two things. Number one, Greg's favorite scripts. That's free. Download it. It's got all of his favorite stuff along with video links so you can actually hear the scripts. And then our farming course that we recorded last year, like 8.5 hours of me just squeezing Greg's brain like a ripe kumquat, basically just getting all of the good stuff out of there. Yeah. Really? I'm going to come up with a new and imaginative fruit every time I say this.
Strawberries, grapes.
That's right. That's why I told you the other day. I turned your brain into a prune. So we're getting there. We've gone from plum to now kumquat. But anyway, if you go there, the whole video training course is there. McDanielRealEstateSystems.com. Check all that stuff out. Greg, do you have anybody specific you want to shout out?
Yeah, let me get my damn calendar. Where are you? Gosh damn it. Okay, I had some epic talks this week. I talked to Shane on Monday, super cool. Miriam and her husband on Tuesday. And then I had a couple random calls that I did on Wednesday. And then I talked to Jackie last night on the McDaniel Challenge. Just some really amazing people, man. I got to tell you, the people that I'm learning, they're reaching out to me. I'm more than blessed and honored than I could ever imagine. I never knew this could be this much fun and that people would actually want to listen to me. Top producers, middle producers, beginning producers, but they're listening to what I'm saying, and I'm giving out free advice. Like I just talked to Geeta out here, out my door here, and I gave her a walking plan and an attack plan to go get business, and I gave it to her for free. And the way she was so excited to get it for free, she says she's going to go do it right away. And I'm like, that's awesome, man. And she blows up and makes $500,000 next year from maybe taking maybe this little bit of time or anything, just to listen to me blabble on. That's the coolest thing ever. That is the coolest thing ever. So I'm just honored. So thank you guys.
Very cool. All right. So Erik, back to you. We talked about this a little bit offline before we went on the air, and I want you to share it if you don't mind. What were kind of share what your production levels were over the course of the years so people can see kind of what the progression is. And then let's talk about what your team looks like right now in both places. Who's the people around you?
Yeah, thanks. So I'll give numbers first. So when I started, it was 8 transactions that first year in the recession. I went to 18, then to 40, then had a bit of a leveling at 42, then 75, 103, 146, and then we've consistently stayed at or around or above 100. We've plateaued a bit, mostly because of my coming to California. I was doing a majority of the sales, and now stepping away, it's kind of the next level of building new systems in place, having the right person in place, as we talked about in the start of this conversation. And then that brought me to California, which was less than 2 years ago. And the first year was wildly unprofitable. It was basically building systems. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm going to go out there and crush it.
Right.
Well, in Minnesota, which, as you had mentioned, is a competitive market, in the metro area, there's 15,000 real estate agents. In LA County alone, there's over 100,000 real estate agents. So it's not that everyone is good. It's still like any market. Most agents are a commodity that aren't able to differentiate their business from someone else. So you can improve, but you're still building relationships from the ground up. And someone that's meeting you online or at an open house, you still have to take them from A to Z.
Yeah, you really do. And I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of people think they have this romantic vision of real estate. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get into it and I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to drive the Mercedes and wear the expensive clothes and I'm going to go to the cocktail parties and, yes, I sell real estate. Would you like to buy? No, dickhead, it's not like that. You got to really hustle.
Right.
I don't even know how to respond to that, but yeah.
But it's true. I mean, Eric, you're walking, talking proof. And I said it before, and I say it again, man. You hustle hard. You are the result of everything nobody ever saw you do. And that's the grind behind the scenes.
Right.
And when you talk to agents, they're like, why am I not making the money? I'm like, bitch, because you don't work. It's really hard, but I just solved it for you. Now, next I'll solve traffic. But
well, let's get into the work, Eric. What was the work? You mentioned you were talking about building systems and stuff like that, and you expected to kind of come out and crush it. What did you do? I mean, day one, you land in Beverly Hills. Yeah. You're like, first of all, like once you, and I know what this feels like because I've done this twice. I've moved from Omaha to San Diego twice. Once you get over the initial, oh my God, I'm on vacation every single day. Like once that ends, what did you start to do? Like what did you spend your days working on?
Which is absolutely true, because it really is. Every day is vacation. There isn't bad weather. It's like the Twilight Zone.
I know. Exactly.
Oh my God.
So I landed, because business is good in Minnesota, which isn't the same. The price point is 1/5 what it is in Beverly Hills on average. So I came knowing that there was the potential of not making income right away. So I came with a nest egg to be able to build, and took 6 months to build out what my platforms would be. And I thought that they would be 3 things. I use Commissions Inc., which is an internet-based platform where leads drive based on pay-per-click to a website, and then you attempt to nurture and convert them online. They're either looking to sell their home, so they find out what their home is worth, or they look to buy a home, and so they're looking at homes online. And then we try and convert. And as Greg had mentioned, it's all about scripts and contact points and conversion. That was bucket number 1. And that was more of a challenge than it was in Minnesota. We can get into that if you'd like to. Bucket number 2 was going to be anyone that I would meet would get on a series of drips, mailing, email videos, and phone calls from us. These aren't people that have raised their hand to say, I want to buy or sell a home, but they are in my database. And whatever you want to believe in how often people move, I think NAR says it's every 7 years. I generally go of the ilk for easy math of 10 or 20, depending on if I want to be optimistic or pessimistic. So if you have 1,000 people in your database that know you really well, and someone moves every 10 years, there's 100 moves. So I look at those as people that I would then network with and do happy hours and client events and lunch and learns. And all of these things cost. None of them are free. So my first year in Beverly Hills, we had some conversions, but when I looked at the spend compared to the income, it was $56,000 in the hole.
Wow. Really?
Now the next year, which will end for me, it's calendar year obviously is December 31st, but April will be 2 years for me. So April 2017, and we're already up in Beverly Hills by around 210, 220.
Nice.
So it took the first year to lose wildly and build a foundation to get to the point now where I have a flush pipeline with an average price point of, call it 1.3 or 1.4.
Well, you're in Beverly Hills, Brentwood, you're in those neighborhoods, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And you've got how many agents out there with you in California?
2.
And you're in production, right? You're active. So essentially a team of 3 active agents.
Correct.
All right. So those are the 3 buckets that you thought. And that's what I want to get into, is especially with Commissions Inc., which is very comparable to Boomtown and other systems to generate internet leads. So I don't want to focus too much on that stuff, but let's get into the conversion, right? So what are some of the number differences that you've seen between what works in Minnesota versus what it takes to get it to work in California?
Right. So from a Commissions Inc. standpoint, in Minnesota, we hover around what the system would like you to be, around 4% for conversions. And in California, we're less than 1% so far. And the difference, I see 3 major differences. One, there's a higher number of bad phone numbers, bad emails that come through by percentage. I'd say it's 15% more than it is in Minnesota. The second one is I have a volume of people that are international and national clients or prospects. So I'll get people from Germany, Portugal, Korea, Japan, China that will come to the website. And instead of saying, let's go look at the home you like next weekend, it's, oh, you come back in the spring. So I have to nurture them from now until the spring.
Interesting.
And then the last differentiator is someone who buys a $260,000 home in Minneapolis, they can make $50,000, $60,000. And those are normal working class people that are not as sold as often as someone who buys a $1 or $2 million home. They oftentimes, it seems, have their people. They have their financial planner, they have their accountant, they have a business manager potentially, a real estate agent that has helped them transact before. It's rare that a first-time buyer buys a $2 million house, so they've had transactions probably, and because of that, their agent has probably worked really hard to keep their claws in them. So there's more barriers to entry in this market.
I love that term. Keep their claws in them. Just.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, it absolutely is.
No, it's true though. I mean, the oxygen is thinner in the higher price points. Therefore, the purchasing power is going to be fewer and far between. And I mean, when I first got into the business, my father took me to a Howard Britton seminar back in the day. And he's like, Greg, you're going to see a lot of big teams doing a lot of deals. Don't be intimidated by that. Their price points are different. I had no idea what that meant, but it just, I mean, we'll do one deal at 1.3, Minnesota will do 5 and get the same, commission, but 5 times or 4 times the amount of work. I'm like, oh, that's okay. I don't care. We can do 50 deals, 60 deals and make a healthy income. And a lot of people get dazzled by, oh, I do so many deals. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is you're hustling your tail feathers off, right? I mean, that's why you moved to California, I'm assuming. Well, maybe one of the reasons you're like, hey, I can work like a fourth of the amount that I did back there and make equal or greater amount of money.
Well, and the bigger test from my personal, on 2 fronts. One, I wanted to see if I could bring the same type of production that is typical for the Midwest to the Southern California market to see if that could exist. And there are the creme de la creme of the agents that are doing 80, 90, 100 plus transactions. I mean, you're not talking about the upper 20%, you're talking about the upper 3%.
Oh yeah. There's a guy named Bob Wolf that's south of you down in I forget where he is. He's down the coast. This fool is nuts, man. Last time I saw him was years ago. He had 20 deals going. He was on his knees in his $3,000 suit, yelling at his 3 assistants about every one of the deals he was doing, but he worked at a hyperactive speed. So, I mean, people can definitely do what you did back home. I guarantee you'll do it. I mean, you're on your way there. But right. People have got to be able to understand how they can like time hack and life hack themselves to basically, you want to work yourself out of a job, put the right people on the bus, do the right things, go to the next level, start bringing agents in, all that stuff. So I'm curious about the complexity of the transaction, especially from contract to close, Eric. I mean, is there a major difference between what you've noticed closing, let's say a nice 5-bed, 4-bath home in, the suburb of Minneapolis versus closing a home out here that's $1 million. It's all 3 or 4 bedroom. It's the same house. It's 3 or 4 bedroom. It's not that much bigger. It's not luxury versus non-luxury. It's just price difference. Does California stretch everything out and make everything tougher and more time consuming? No, there's nuanced differences. So there are no earthquakes and termites in Minnesota, as an example. California is a little bit more litigious than Minnesota is. But this was shocking to me, and I mean it. California is actually easier.
It is an escrow state, which Minnesota is not, meaning that all of the transactional activity from purchase agreement to closing is done by the agent or the assistant. And then there's a title company that does title work. But in California, escrow does all of that pre-close activity. So it shocked me. You have the ability to make more money and do less work.
I didn't know that. Now I'm proud to be a Californian. All right.
Absolutely.
Interesting. All right. So let's get into the book real quick. So the book that you've written, kind of tell me about the thought process behind that, why you chose to do that, and where it's supposed to fit into the next phase of the business.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm a bit of a disciple of learning, as I'm sure we all are. And so one of the gurus that I've been following over the course of the past year outside of real estate is a gentleman named Dan Kennedy. He's written books. He's the millionaire maker. And so he talks about this concept of ACE level marketing: authority, celebrity, and expertise. And so if you really want to differentiate, for me, coming into a market of 100,000 real estate agents, and I'm not from here. I didn't go to Beverly Hills High. I don't know everybody. So how do I differentiate? And for me, I thought one of those concepts that Dan Kennedy preaches was a book. So I wrote this book that's called 1 in a Million. And it talks about there's 1.5 million real estate agents right now that are in the country. And so how do you differentiate? And I wrote this to the consumer. So what type of things do you look for as you're looking for a real estate agent? And it's a very, very soft sell. I talk all about my experiences and the things that you should look for. And I give a series of gifts throughout the book. So in essence, it's a 160-page brochure that is hardcover that will now become my business card. So every prospect that converts to a warm conversation will get this book. And I could share with you the math of what we're looking to generate next year behind it.
Yeah, please do.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so as an example, the book prints for less than, I have a fantastic printer that prints for less than $5 a book for a hardcover book.
Okay.
Wow.
And then when you send it media mail, it costs me another $3. The envelope is $1. So we're at $9 a piece. If I send out 1,000 of those books with a personalized letter on the inside, not even necessarily handwritten, it could be mail merged, that will be $9,000. Here, the average commission in Beverly Hills is around $30,000 to $35,000 for one transaction. Now, these are books that will go out to prospects that we've had warm conversations with, and we already have that volume of people within our system. So this book is a recent publish. We sent out 860 books a week and a half ago. So we're going to start seeing people that are going to respond to this gift. A business card, a brochure, a postcard, they get thrown away. A book is a book that goes on a shelf. And if someone needs to remember it, they're going to be able to pick it up. I easily could have sent out a PDF and a mass email. But instead, I'm sending the hardcover.
Nobody will ever see that. Yeah.
I love the book.
Yeah. And anybody that reads Dan Kennedy is any kind of Dan Kennedy disciple, it always has a soft spot for direct mail, physical objects, and I love it. I'm a big fan of Dan Kennedy, and as a result, direct mail and things like that. And what's interesting is as we get to the point where more and more people, like you said, Eric, I'll just send them a PDF. I'll just turn my pre-listing package into a PDF and I'll send it over and they'll look at it. No, they won't. It doesn't have the impact. And we can talk about your shock and awe package because I definitely want to get into that. But yeah, there's something about like we don't get a lot of physical stuff anymore. We'll go to the mailbox and we'll get the ads on Wednesday and we'll get a few letters and they're all bills. And maybe if you're in business circles, you might get some handwritten thank you notes from very pleasant podcast guests like Honore Corder, for example, who sent us a very nice thank you note for appearing on the show. Outside of that, we don't get much anymore. So like this stuff gets more and more effective. Like if you get something in the mail, like if you sent me a book, man, that's the first thing. It's literally, it's the first thing I'm opening, and it never leaves. You're exactly right. It goes on a shelf. So what's the shock and awe package, and where does that fit into this whole thing? Yeah.
So the book is first. So we get a lead from any source. We try and nurture that lead. When we have a warm conversation and we've gone through our basic initial script, if they're hot, we meet with them immediately. If they're a nurture lead, we send out the book that's part of our script to send out, hey, we have a very important book that you need to get. At that point, when they're at the point of conversion, they're ready to have an appointment, we send out this concept of a shock and awe. Now, I'll show a couple of pieces. I have a CD that's me being interviewed. That's how do you pick an agent? Same general scripting as the book, but just in a different format. C's Candy is here in Los Angeles. It's been around since the 1920s. It's a famous candy place. We include that and a funny little snippet of how you can eat the candy, where you're going to be. we have we took all of our endorsements and testimonials and put those in a book as well. So we created a secondary piece of tangible white paper that can stay with the client, and they can look and see what other people said about working with us. We put that all in a leather binder that goes out to people. And again, this whole package probably cost me, if I had to ship it, $50, $60. That's expensive if you send that to every lead, but we're doing it at the point of conversion. And again, I'm having the confidence that our business is that much better than the other agent, that no one else is doing this. We're giving things that have been able to convert. I have a client right now that has an offer in at $5 million they had another agent before me that came to me because of all of these touch points. They were able to say, I got this in the mail. Now, I still had to work. I still had to make the conversion, but I never would have had the conversation to begin with without them.
It's funny, Erik, I had to go run when you were showing stuff off. CD, we had professionally done. We got interviewed by Howard Britton, and my dad has a sweet tooth like nobody's business, right? So guess what we deliver? C's candy, baby. And I will tell you one thing, anyone who's watching this, Erik knows it, I know it. When I show up to a listing appointment and I have my C's candy, you should see, the people's like, for me? And you're like, for you. I'll bring another one next time too, as long as you sign the listing contract. I have two older ladies that call me their candy man. I'm like, what? But I got the listings, and it does not cost a lot of money, guys, but it's so impactful because it's C's candy. Everybody loves C's candy except for me because I hate candy. But that's good. I'm the worst drug dealer. I don't do my own product.
All right, Erik, let's go back to the testimonial booklet. How big is that thing?
Yeah, so it's not very. I mean, you can see it's pretty thin. Uh-huh. So we have 50, 60 testimonials that are inside of it. And so I each time that we have a closing or a client, we try and get something either on video, in writing, on LinkedIn, on Yelp, through audio service, and then we just compile them at the end of the year and we add on to this. Mm-hmm. So I did not have, as the story that we told earlier, the FedEx box filled with testimonials. But again, this was something that was a differentiator that, sure, I could send an email with a link that says, go to my LinkedIn page. How many people are going to do it? Maybe some, but not as much as if I get this hard thing in the mail and they flip through it. There's pictures, it's colored. Yeah, it costs money. But again, it's all about conversion. If I go from, I get 10 to 20 extra percentage in conversion points, do the math. That's a lot of commission checks.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what's funny about there's some forms of content where it's not about the end consumer actually consuming it. It's about the experience of them being hit in the face with it. And I love that's the way Frank from Viral always put it, and that's why he liked the shock and awe like Jay Abraham's testimonial booklet so much, because it's not about them sitting down and, oh man, I need to sit down and read this. I'm just going through each testimonial, very, very, very carefully sifting through what other people have said about you. And it's the experience of going, holy cow. And that's it. Like, that's what you're going for, is that reaction, because it destroys all credibility issue, which, Erik, you had to overcome because you're not from there and you're coming in and you're new to the area, even though you're not new to the business. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the cool things about content or content marketing, is getting that reaction of totally destroying all credibility issue with a piece like that.
Another thing that we're starting to do here is we are showing up with C's and a CD and an RPR report. If they're any type of lead, we will physically go to their door, like that day if we can, say, hi, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me. I just wanted to sweeten up your day. Cheesy as shit, but it works. And people are blown away. But the reason why it's so effective is that you're differentiating yourself from everyone else because you're actually physically showing up. Human body shows up at front door. And then they can listen to something that looks, and actually put a $20 value on the back of this thing to make them think that it was really worth $20. But it's just doing that. And so Erik, you're working the same system I'm working up here down there, man. It's epic to see how successful it can be.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir. It works. I know it works.
And I'm curious, just a final question before we wrap things up, Erik. What are some of the other old school, like you mentioned, kind of going out, doing events, meeting with clients and stuff like that? Is there any anything systematic or just anything that you found that really works well for you that's just super old school?
Yeah, so old school stuff is I'm not doing expireds or FSBOs or door knocking. When we get listings, we do hold our own open houses. We do just listed, just sold postcards. We still call through our back database. We send out birthday cards and birthday videos through Facebook. All of this, as you had mentioned, Matt, is we're trying to take mind space. We're just trying to get to be front and center whenever they think of a real estate question, that we will be there first. And so I know that is impressions. As we mentioned off the call, Gary Keller created the concept of 33 touch. We use that format. We just try and make connection points X number of times per month, quarter, and year.
Yeah. And are you a viral client too? I remember hearing.
I am. Yeah. So speaking of endorsements and testimonials, they make the calls for us. Yeah, so they get all of our endorsements on audio, and then we post that audio to our website, which it's much more impressionable than just seeing something in print.
It's true. I was actually laughing with one of my coaches this morning. She sent over a testimonial, and I was reading it because I was on a conference call, and I was laughing to myself because I could physically hear my client like say these words. I'm like, yeah, post everywhere, and it's incredibly impactful and very, very beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. All right. So Erik, refresh everyone's memory on exactly where you're at and kind of what your specialties, if you have any, are as far as what types of referrals people can keep an eye out for you.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm in the greater Los Angeles market that probably by geography is anywhere from Malibu to downtown Los Angeles. And again, coming from Minnesota, where your average price point is $260, there's no such thing as a starter home or too cheap here in California. Like it's $400,000, $500,000.
Complains about having to roll out of bed for a $500,000 listing. I just want to shoot him in the head.
Yeah, one of the agents on my team had worked kind of north of the Los Angeles area, and when we first brought him on, I asked him his price point, and he looked dejected when he told me, "I'm so sorry, it's really low. It's $650." I said, "You're hired. You're hired."
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, so Erik, how do people connect with you? How can they either send you referrals, connect with you, learn more about the book, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, thanks. So you can find me on our website, which is very easy. It's erikrBrown.com. That's Erik with a K, so ERIK, Brown like the color, and all of my contact information is there. That's the easiest.
All right, and then Greg, briefly, what is the McDaniel Challenge?
I'm going to drag this out just to piss you off. Guys, the McDaniel Challenge is an hour to 2 hours of 100% free, all caps on that FREE, free coaching. You guys can book it up with me. We're going to talk about anything that's stopping you, blocking you, or hindering you getting you to where you want to be in your business, mindset, systems, prospecting, you name it, let's chat. Now, I always say this, and it's the truth. Look, I am nothing special. I'm just a real estate agent, but I've had the opportunity to learn from some of the absolute greats in the business, and I've been around it literally my entire life. When I was 16 years old, my dad offered me if I wanted to drive after I got my license. I'm like, sweet, music up, windows down, me and my dad rolling. No, windows up, air conditioning on, radio off, Terry on phone doing deals. I was chauffeur. So I've had the opportunity to learn a lot. So guys, if you guys want to just talk about stuff, the next available date, my calendar is November 13th of 2017. So if you don't hurry, you'll be in the 2018 kids. But guys, go ahead, follow me on Facebook or message me on Facebook. I have 5,000 friends. They won't let me have any more. Or call me on this thing. It's called a cellular telephone. See, it lights up. It works. And let's book a time, guys. Let's get you on this thing. So 9:25, 9:15, 1978 is my cell phone. Say it with me, Matt. What's the number? 925-915-1978. There you go.
And Mike Holbrook, if you're listening, and you had to ask me for Greg's cell phone number, that shows that maybe you're not a true fan, because you should have, as I do, you should have that phone number burned into your ears and retina, possibly. Also the retina, definitely. That Greg's number haunts my dreams, and so you should know that number by heart. And Get in touch with it. It struck me as funny. I'm like, yeah, he listens to every show, comments and asks questions, and then he had to ask for your cell phone number.
Oh, I actually was on a chat the other day. I was just listening to another guy do some prospecting, and they're like, "Oh my God, Real Estate Uncensored is watching. Hey man, I want to talk with you." I'm like, "All right, get a hold of me. You need my cell?" He's like, "No man, I got it. I memorized it already." He wrote it back to me. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's awesome. That is so awesome." So I love
that's
you
the
guys.
power.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah,
You do it for
All
you
right,
guys. So we can't wait to keep making it rain for you. Have a beautiful, blessed, incredible weekend. Love you much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Eric. We appreciate you being on the show. Thank you so much to everybody for watching live. And if you're watching the replay here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. That way you get all the future videos automatically. Same thing for iTunes or Stitcher if you like the audio versions instead. So you can listen right on your phone, in the gym, on your way to and from the office and from appointments. So
maybe even in the shower. We never know.
Even in the shower. Hell, I've gotten into listening to podcasts. You just crank that iPhone up, put it in the bathroom, listen, listen right in the shower. There's never an excuse to not be learning.
Let's end on a high point here.
That's right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, folks.